The detergent. At last, rinse again with clean water and leave the bucket upside down to dry. Hygiene is important to prevent scouring of the calf. In case the animal still gets it, the dung is very liquid. Then no milk should be fed. Give boiled water instead to prevent drying out. If no improvement is seen after 1 day, call for veterinary assistance. Also, when a calf is kept in a calf pen, it may pick up ticks. To prevent tick-borne diseases, you can apply pie grease or spray the calf with an acaricide solution every week. After the calf has been weaned and leaves the calf pen, it can be taken to the dip weekly. Although calves housed in a calf pen have less chances to be infested with worms, control still will be necessary. When you deworm, give the right amount of medicine. You can measure easily with a bottle used for feeding babies. Apply the medicine to the calf by use of any soda bottle. Start deworming the calf at an age of 2 months. Repeat this treatment every 3 months. At last, the calf should be vaccinated against the following diseases: foot and mouth disease at an age of 4 months and to be repeated every 6 months; blantrax, black quarter and anthrax at an age of 6 months; brucellosis for heifer calves at an age of 8 months. When you follow all these advices correctly for your heifer and bull calves, your calves will be healthy and big, and the result can be seen. The small calf has reached an age of about 6 months, while the big one is only 2 months old. But her future is much brighter, and she will definitely pay back for the attention from the owner in form of milk. To rear your calf in the right way, remember to treat the cow in calf well and practice steaming up. Give colostrum immediately after birth. Feed 1 liter 4 to 5 times a day during the first 3 days. Keep your calf in a proper calf pen with a slatted floor. Feed your calf with milk immediately after milking the cow. Continue to give milk for 15 weeks as advised in the feeding schedule. Add some early weaner pellets and minerals. Fresh water should be present always, as well as good quality grass. Practice good hygiene and clean the utensils properly.
Make sure your calf remains free of ticks. Deworm your calf regularly. Vaccinate your calf against diseases.
This calf is just born and tries to find out how the world looks like. She even likes to see more of it. But that is not easy when your legs are so long. How long ago was her last sister or brother born? Hopefully, not much more than a year. This farmer in South Nyanza shows us a good example. 6 years ago, he started with one Frisian cow. But count them now, they are 6. The period between 2 calvings we call the calving interval. A good fertility means that we reach a calving interval of 1 year. This cow has given birth twice in a period of 2 years. But look at the difference in age between the heifer and the calf. It is more than 1 year. Here we see an example of a cow which gave birth 3 times in the same period. That means that she produces an extra calf for the farmer. But not only that, she has finished 2 lactations in the meantime and produced 5,000 kilograms of milk, while the first cow completed only 1 lactation and produced 3,000 kilograms. So a good fertility gives not only more calves, but also more milk during the lifetime of the cow. What can you do to improve the fertility of your cows? Try to get them pregnant again within 3 months after calving. Be aware that a cow normally will come on heat again 3 to 4 weeks after she has calved. So do not wait for 3 months before you start to observe your cow for heat signs.
Sasa hizi ng'ombe ni useme kama ng'ombe ilipata hii moja ilipata ndume kama mwezi ya 5 ile iko nyuma. Ndio. Lakini mwezi wa 5 kutoka siku hiyo haijapata nini kupenda dume.
Yani kuonyesha haina mimba.
Haina mimba
Gani sasa?
Sasa ni hii.
Hii ndio hakuna mimba. Imetaka ndume?
Bado.
Mwezi ya ulisema mwezi ya 6 haikutaka ndume?
Haikutaka.
Ya 7 haikutaka.
Haikutaka.
Ya 8 haikutaka.
Haikutaka hata.
Ya 9 haikutaka. Kwa hivyo ina matatizo inaonekana. Unapatia chumvi?
Iko chumvi lakini ilikuwa kutumia chumvi zamani kidogo kama mwezi ya 6 na hii siku ilifanya nini? Ngampa nyuma yake chumvi na kuisha. Sasa chumvi na kuisha nyuma yake ngienda katika dukani inakuwa kali kabisa.
How do you improve on this common situation? Observe your cows 3 to 4 times per day for heat signs from 3 weeks after the cow calves. In case no heat signs are noticed within 2 months after calving, let a veterinarian check the cow. If the placenta does not come off within 24 hours after calving, also call for veterinary assistance. Extremely important for the fertility of your cows is the supply of good quality minerals. All your animals should have access to minerals at all times so that they can eat as much as they like and need. To help your cow to come on heat soon after calving, give her plenty of good quality fodder. That is good for her milk production as well. Also, concentrates should be added. When everything is normal, every 3 weeks, a cow should come on heat. The following signs are a clear indication that a cow is on heat. The cow becomes restless and looks around. The cow sniffs at other animals. The cow tries to mount other animals. At first she walks away when she's mounted herself. Only when she allows mounting, the so-called standing heat, she can be taken for insemination. The tail is bent away from the vulva. Clear mucus is discharged from the vulva. The vulva is swollen and red. The milk production is reduced. It is important to record all fertility aspects of your cows. You can use a fertility calendar for this, but also an ordinary calendar or notebook can be helpful. From well-kept records, you can learn the heat intervals of your cow and predict the next heat. Circle the dates around 3 weeks from the present heat at your calendar so that you know when you have to observe the cow for heat signs carefully. The most recommended period to present a cow for insemination is between 45 and 90 days after calving. Insemination towards the end of the heat period gives the best result. When you see your cow on heat in the afternoon, take her to the crush the next morning. The inseminator will first check whether the cow is really on heat. This is a clear case by looking at all the clear mucus that is present in the vagina. If the heat is confirmed, the insemination follows. Use your calendar to note during which period the cow would come on heat again in case the insemination failed. Repeat this 4 times and observe your cows carefully during these periods. It might still be possible that your cow is not pregnant. If you see her on heat again, take her for another insemination immediately. Even when no heat signs were seen during these 4 periods, you are not completely sure that your cow has conceived. To avoid disappointment, make it a rule that always you ask a veterinarian to carry out a pregnancy diagnosis 3 months after the last insemination. When the veterinarian has confirmed the pregnancy, you can add 280 days to the date of the last insemination to find the expected calving date. Then you also know the date the cow should be dried off, 2 months before the expected calving date. If everything goes well, like in this example, your cow can even calve again within a year. To achieve a good fertility of your dairy cows, remember the following points. Minerals should be available at all times. Practice frequent heat detection and look for the following signs. The cow is restless. She sniffs other cows. She tries to mount other cows. Only when she allows mounting herself, she can be taken for insemination. Clear mucus is discharged from the vulva. The vulva is swollen and red. A decline in milk production can be noticed. The first heat can be expected 3 to 4 weeks after calving. Keep records of the heats to predict the next ones and observe the animal closely at those dates. Take your cow for insemination when she comes on heat 45 days or more after calving. When no heat signs are seen for 3 months after the last insemination, let a veterinarian carry out a pregnancy diagnosis on your cow. A good fertility means a calf every year. This will give you more calves, but also more milk during the lifetime of a cow. In other words, your income per cow improves. Feeding can be considered as the most important part of keeping dairy animals. How can you expect your cow to produce a good quantity of milk when she's not fed properly? If the cows are kept under zero grazing, the feeding needs even more attention, because then the animals depend entirely on what the farmer takes to them. Good feeding is balanced feeding. This means that a cow should receive a ration balanced in energy, protein and minerals. If one of these components is in short supply, the milk production remains low, the condition of the cow is poor, and fertility problems can be expected. Therefore, do not only make sure that you feed sufficient, but also that the quality of the ration is good. If your cows are not fed properly, they will look very poor. When you have to fetch the water from a river far away, be added to napier grass are the legumes like desmodium. These are very rich in protein and can be used to balance the ration of the cows. Desmodium can be interplanted with napier, and the mixture is of high quality for the animals. Another group of legumes to be considered are the fodder trees. Especially Lucina goes together very well with napier grass in areas at a low altitude. Also, lucerne is a legume you can grow on your farm. It should be cut when it starts flowering to make optimum use of it. After cutting, leave it for some hours on the field to wilt in order to prevent bloat in your animals. Other roughages which are of importance, especially during the dry season, are fodder beets. They grow well in areas at a higher altitude and contain a good feeding value. Also during the dry season, you can feed silage of napier grass to your cows. However, usually the feeding value is not high. The cheapest roughages you can find on your farm are the kilograms of dairy meal per day, depending on her body condition. The feeding of a cow should receive special attention after she has given birth, that is, during her early lactation. This is the time the cow should be challenged to produce as much as possible. First of all, plenty of good quality fodder should be given. When the cow reaches a high peak yield during this period, her production during the rest of the lactation will remain higher as well. So supplement the ration with concentrates now. Whenever you intend to buy dairy meal for your cow, do it in this period. Give dairy meal direct after calving and increase the quantity with half to 1 kilogram per day. You continue to increase the dairy meal as long as the cow responds with a higher milk production. Once the cow has reached her peak yield, you maintain the high level of dairy meal. If your cow is not fed well during early lactation, her milk production will be low and also will remain lower during the rest of her lactation. She will not come on heat regularly and early after calving, and her body condition will be poor. Only when the cow starts to drop in milk production, you can reduce the dairy meal and start to feed according to the actual production. For each kilogram dairy meal which is given, we expect a return of 1.5 kilograms of milk. In general, we take it as a rule that a cow can produce 7 kilograms of milk out of roughages only. So when a cow produces 10 kilograms of milk, you have to add 2 kilograms of dairy meal daily. And when she produces 20 kilograms, you add 9 kilograms of dairy meal per day. At last, some examples of rations for your cow are given. In the rainy season, when there is plenty of good quality young napier grass, large animals are able to eat about 110 kilograms of it daily. Out of this grass only, they can produce even 11 kilograms of milk. That means that 3 bags full of chopped napier have to be brought to each cow every day, as 1 bag contains about 40 kilograms. 80 kilograms of a napier desmodium mixture might also give you 11 kilograms of milk. During late rains, 75 kilograms of napier plus 15 kilograms of potato vines can give you 6 kilograms of milk. In the dry season, when you have a limited supply of young napier, you could add lucina leaves. When you give 35 kilograms napier and 6 kilograms lucina per day, your cow can produce 4.5 kilograms of milk. In the dry season, you can also add byproducts: 30 kilograms banana stems, 18 kilograms napier, 8 kilograms sweet potato vines, and 10 kilograms maize stover could be fed daily to each cow. This whole quantity will enable her to produce 4.5 kilograms of milk. When you have only silage available during the dry season, you may give each cow 40 kilograms per day. But most probably, this is hardly enough for the cow to maintain her body. All the milk has to come from concentrates you should give her. If you want to feed your dairy cows in the right way, remember the following points. Make water available to the cows at all times. Plant enough napier grass to produce as much milk as possible out of fodder. Add legumes to your napier grass, like desmodium, to balance the ration. Plant other roughages, like fodder beets. Use farm byproducts, like maize stover. Make sure that the cow receives plenty of fodder and the feed trough is never empty. Add dairy meal, especially during early lactation. All your animals should have access to minerals at all times. Later during the lactation, feed dairy meal according to production. In Kenya, 2 dry periods are experienced during the year. In some areas, these dry spells are more severe than in others, but farmers always should be prepared to feed their animals during the drought. Especially when a farmer practices zero grazing, his cows depend entirely on him, because all the food has to be brought to them. In this film, some solutions towards this problem are given. In the first place, you should plant enough napier grass for your animals. For each cow and her heifer, 3/4 of an acre to 1 acre should be present. To make optimum use of the napier grass in the dry season, apply 4 bags of fertilizer NPK 20-10-10 per acre per year. 2 bags at the beginning of the short rains and 2 bags in the middle of the long rains. In this way, the napier grass continues to grow longer when the rains stop and remains green when it becomes dry. Also, fodder trees remain green when it becomes dry. In areas at a lower altitude, Lucina grows very well in combination with napier grass. The leaves can contribute considerably to the dry season ration of the dairy cows. Besides napier grass, make sure you use other types of fodder as well. The vines of sweet potatoes might also help you to feed your animals when fodder becomes in short supply. When you live in an area at a high altitude where the climate is more cold, fodder beets perform well. The advantage is that these can stay in the soil during the dry season. You can just collect them at the time you need them without any preservation. The fodder beets have a good feeding value, and you can be sure that your cows love to eat them. On top of the beets, also the leaves can be fed. When you store it properly, it will also contain a reasonable feeding value. Store it under room and off the ground so that it remains dry and does not A special method to store the maize stover is to bale it. You can easily do it on your farm by following this simple method.
Although it is labor intensive, all you need is a wooden box,
Then cut some stems at the size of the box to make a firm layer at the bottom. Place the sticks first across the box and add another layer lengthwise on the top. Then you fill up with the whole material. Make sure you press the stover by trampling on it. On top, you add another layer of sticks of the correct size. Now tie the ropes together on top. Remove the maize stover from the box and your bale is ready. Store the bales in a dry open place so that the wind has free access to it to keep it dry. Only when you live in an area with an extreme dry spell and the fodders and byproducts you have seen are not available like at the coast, you might think of making silage from your napier grass. Remember, it requires a lot of labor, it is costly, and the feeding value of the grass will reduce considerably. But when there are no other alternatives and you decide to make silage, follow the right procedure.